Mission Monday update. It is May 12th, 2025, and it is time to find out what is going on this week. There's always a lot to get caught up on, always a lot of news from this past week, and this is no exception. And we have a bonus. We have an amazing guest joining us tonight, so stick around. You're going to want to know more about what's all going on with our lovely guest. But as always, I have the pleasure of bringing in our president and founder, Brian Gibson, to give us all the details, all the updates from things from this past week. Brian, come on in. How you doing tonight?
Great. You're right. We have an outstanding guest. I love this. Okay, let's start. What happened in the past week? The big one is we had our fellowship breakfast, did we not? First Wednesday of the month.
Always, yes.
Love it. 39 veterans got fellowship support and a free meal. But the icing on the cake was 5 first-time visitors, 5 veteran first-time visitors to this breakfast.
Amazing. And setting records. That is true or false? That is the most we've had.
That's the most we've ever had at one single sitting.
Awesome.
And I got it. That's the most we had. But 5 veterans. Everybody says my success meter's whacked. I don't know why, but I really don't care how many show up. Because if one shows up and finds hope, the mission is successful. All right. Let me go here. Here we are pushing buttons again, Susan.
Well, I'll go ahead and share too then, so that those that don't know, the location is at the IHOP in Paducah, Kentucky, and it's always the first Wednesday of the month.
Coming nationwide as soon as we get the resources. All right. Other big news. Thank you. God bless and welcome to the team. Energy Colvett has joined our team as a mission supplier. Facilities are going to take, fob rush, the pond, the stream, right? All that's going to take their expertise to get back up to standard. Liberty Pest Control, veteran-owned no less, has joined our team as a facility supplier. Everybody goes, a facility supplier? Yeah. Facilities are going to get pests, right? We got to take care of that, right? So we use Liberty. They're veteran-owned, so we're supporting veterans and our facilities. And finally, Mr. Lee down there at the Crawl Space Ace, a mission supplier. I've known Lee for years. And I just want to say, brother, welcome to the team. Now, if you need your crawl space fixed in the river region, give him a call. He'll treat you right. All right, next slide. Look, guys, it's pretty simple. Check your bet. Do you have the time and the talent? Faith without works is a no-go. Work without faith is a no-go. Volunteer at projectdiehard.org. This is how we grow. It is. It's how we grow. To put a facility in every state, it's going to take an army. All right, fill the can. The 26th, it kicks off, so we're going to have one more Monday to talk about this. It's still not too late for you guys to set up your cans. Okay? They're virtual cans. We understand that. They all go into the general fund supporting all of our in person participants. More will be coming out on that. I got a couple more to lock down. But this is what that 122,000 this year is going to cover. The faster it gets done, the faster we build another one. Here you go. The general fund is overseen by Paducah Bank. You can walk into any branch and say, I want to fill the can. And those outstanding people will know what to do. But this is why sharing our mission is so important. The next big thing, Operation Wisdom. Remember, I'll listen to anybody, but you got to show me I need to listen to you. So, bring your person to Paducah, Kentucky, May 31st. Woodlawn Church, a ministry partner, which we need more of, is hosting our mission. Our keynote speaker is Ryan Hunt, 10th Mountain Recruiting, Major, United States Army retired. Yeah, we've known him for years. 10th Mountain Recruiting handles our executive job searches. We are still in need for our deep dive within this event, a rabbi and an imam. Dr. Brad Hansen has answered the call. We are going to be talking about hope. So if you know somebody of know somebody, have them reach out. We need volunteers for Operation Wisdom. Tables need set up. Tables need taken down. Big things are moving. We got about 2 weeks left before this kicks off. We need more help. We need your volunteers. Share our mission out. Share our need out. Let God do what God does. We still need people who want to come and set up tables at Operation Wisdom, because every event we do, we want to help veterans. So if you have an organization, a product that you would like to be featured at Operation Wisdom, reach out. Susan can point you in the right direction, trust me. And then after that, June 7th, Fob Rush Open House. Come and see what the plan is. Come and see what will be. And remember, during that time, from 1 to 3, we are being broadcast live on the Veteran First Initiative telethon. Guys, we need your help. We do. There you go. You know me, short, sweet, to the point. I think our guests backstage got to see those slides too. So, bring in New York.
Excellent. Well, our first guest this evening is, gosh, I think she's going to be as much of a treat for everybody listening as it's been for me to get to know her in the gosh, I'm trying to think when we first connected. But Anissa Hudak, I'm make sure I'm saying your last name correct as well. She is a yoga therapist and founder of Trauma Healing Yoga Therapy Program. Her background and experience, I think you are going to really enjoy hearing about, and her approach to helping those with PTSD and trauma is so needed. Anissa, come on in and share a bit more about what exactly it is that you do and a little bit about your background. I'm excited to share you with everyone.
Well, thank you. I am a neurosomatic therapist and coach. I work specifically with women who have experienced trauma. I specialize working with sexual trauma. However, we don't turn any trauma away. Um, what we do is I help women move trauma out of their bodies by utilizing yoga therapy, and we help move trauma out of the unconscious using some neuro techniques.
How long have you been doing this?
The neuro work for about 10 years, the somatic work for about 10 years. So I've been a yoga therapist for about 10 years, and the neuro work for about 2 now.
Excellent. And give us a little background. How did you get started down this road?
So my husband is active duty. We were stationed here at Fort Riley. We live in Manhattan, Kansas, where the livestock outnumber the people. And yeah, I know. I left the Big Apple for the Little Apple. I know.
Time out. You live in Manhattan,
Kansas.
Kansas. I lived there for 8 years.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, wow. Small world.
No. It's called, once you become a member of the Big Red One, you never get to leave the Big Red One. You get a vacation to Korea, but you're coming back to Riley.
We've been here 18 years.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I knew I was going to like her.
So I started taking yoga teacher training classes, and they were offering those a group of classes for veterans for PTSD. And I thought, I want to take these classes. I want to bring this knowledge back to my community. I want to be of service. I was about halfway through the first day, and I said, oh, crap. The first person I needed to work on was right here. I had already been sexually assaulted once at that point, and I didn't realize that my PTSD had really crawled into like the nooks and crannies of my life and was holding me back. And so it started this entire like self-healing journey that I got on, and I got to work for 3.5 years at the WTB at Fort Riley, working with active duty and retired soldiers. I got to it was a blast. I also had a private studio here where I got to work with civilians as well. And I just really loved working with women who were like me. And so that's before I knew it, I was a yoga therapist and I work with trauma, here we are.
Excellent. So with where you are now, do you mostly work with people local to where you are? Do you do things where it's outreach, like virtual online like this? What is the best mode for you?
Well, the cattle really don't dig the yoga much. The bison do like it though. So in order to get more of an outreach though, I do everything online. All of the somatic work, all of the neuro work, everything's done online.
Excellent. So you really can reach absolutely anywhere. As long as they've got internet, you can connect and help. And I almost hesitate to ask this, but I got to ask, do you have any particular stories or particular people that stand out in your mind of things that you can Oh, what? I'm sorry.
I
Go ahead.
know. How
Okay.
big of a TV screen am I going to have to put in the studio?
Not big. Why? I mean, I'm only 4'8.5". You don't need that big of a screen.
Well, no. You are joining us as a resource partner, correct?
Potentially.
Okay. Okay.
We need to talk about that.
Okay. Kurt will take you through the thing. I'm just the guy that signs the MOAs.
Right.
Okay. But I know now, see, picture 30 by 40 building,
Uh-huh.
right? And your class is being streamed live to every facility in the nation.
Can happen. Yeah.
Oh, I know it can. I'm just trying to figure out how big a screen I need to put in there.
Well, like I said, I'm only 4'8.5", so it doesn't need to be a big screen.
Well, you're only 4'8.5", but when we have 30, 40 veterans in a
Get it.
room.
I get it. I get it. I get
Oh
it.
no, I know you do. I'm just busting on you. Okay. This is I love this.
So, Brian, what questions do you have? Do you have
Well,
any?
my question is, I know personally because our facility in Pennsylvania is named after one of my soldiers that was sexually assaulted. I got the honor to make sure that individual is spending, I think he's still got 40 years at Leavenworth to go. But that's a big problem in my world, the veteran world.
Really? You don't say.
Well, you're the one that can back me up on that.
Yeah, one of the leading causes of female suicides from veterans is because of sexual assault and abuse within the ranks. Yes, rampant. Rampant.
Love it.
No,
Because,
no, don't love it.
well, okay. I love that statement because that reaffirms our mission of reducing veteran suicide is bringing up these subjects. Because if you're not talk about them, they get shoved in the corner, right? And I won't abide by that. Go on, Susan, before I get on a rant.
So, Susan, your question to me was there any particular story?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you of a story. I hold this gentleman near and dear to my heart. I had done a body scan meditation for this group one day. And it's a lovely meditation where it's guided. They were all lying there on their yoga mats. And I literally just gave them a tour of their body. And afterwards, he very quietly, this gentleman came up to me and he said, "Ma'am, I'm 55 years old and I've never met parts of my body you introduced me to today." And I said, "Oh." He said, "Well, just not in that fashion." He said, and you had me thank these parts of my body for doing what they've done for me." I said, "Yeah." And he said, I've never had this experience before. And I've taken my body for granted for so long. And I didn't realize all that it did for me. I never thought about it. He said, "Every day I have to go for a treatment where I have to sit in a room and have this treatment done. It's 20 minutes long. And I always try to find something to listen to." He said, "Is there something like on YouTube or whatever that I could listen to that would do this for me? Because I need to do this." And I said, "Well, as a matter of fact, I've recorded it. You can have a recording of it." And he said, "Oh, that's the best." And he floated away.
I love that. But obviously making a very sincere and deep impact with that individual, and that's just one example of somebody that you're able to touch in what you do. I love it.
Susan,
Yes.
we need to get that recording, and I want that played at 2:45 in the morning, because that's when I usually get the calls. So I'm trying to come up with stuff to put out at those early hours. If a veteran's going through social media, they pick up on that.
I can make it available.
Cool. See?
Now,
love
I do have 2 sons, and they have told me that my voice is enough to bore you to sleep. And so at the very least, if it's not the body scan, it'll be my voice that'll bore you to sleep.
I laugh because Kurt says that kind of comment, exact same thing all the time.
Wait. Oh, we could work with that. We could work with that. I'm picturing, it's okay, guys, girls. You made it this far. Now just go to sleep. Oh, Thursday meeting's going to be fun because I'm getting ideas, and you guys got to shut me down, or we're just going to run with them.
So, well, let me come back around here again with Anissa. Can you tell us a bit more about your connection with the military? Because obviously you've got a very strong connection there. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, my dad was a non-vet. I grew up with PTSD my entire life, not realizing that's what he had, what the problem was. I married a active duty man, and so I started traveling the U.S. with him. He did 3 deployments within 5 years, all to the sandbox. And every time he came back, a little less of them came back with him. So I know firsthand PTSD. I know secondary PTSD thanks to PTSD. I know all kinds of stuff that people shouldn't have to know about. I know PTSD intimately, and that's nothing to brag about. And nobody has to die from it. This is not a death sentence. There's actually life after, and you can get to the other side. Now, the problem is you got to walk through hell. But if you're going to walk through hell, you got to walk through it like you own the place.
I love that statement. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to back this up just as somebody who, or for somebody who is not familiar. I mean, a lot of people, we've heard of PTSD. What does it look like? And I know there's not just like one picture of it, but what if a person is thinking like my loved one, my friend, wondering, is this what is happening with them? Is there anything you could help to describe a bit what somebody might be able to look for in somebody else, just to be able to help get them in the right direction? Or is that a little too broad?
Well, PTSD is a huge umbrella worth of symptoms. There's over 75 different symptoms that could potentially make up PTSD. So it's very hard because your PTSD could look very different than my PTSD, and yet we could still have it, both of us. So it's really hard. You need to have a clinician who looks at the whole person as opposed to just the symptomology. And so that's number one, really, really hard to find somebody who will do that, because there's physical and there are mental and emotional, spiritual symptoms. And you need somebody who looks at the entire person, which our medical here in the Western, they don't do that. And I hate to break it to them, but the head is actually attached to the rest of the body, and it's all part of the package. You got to look at the whole damn thing. So that's really, the hard part about it. The actually healing from it is actually easier than getting diagnosed. So sometimes it's actually better to just say, yeah, I got it. Now let's move forward. Treatment is also incredibly individual, just as individual as your own PTSD. And so what I tell all my clients, you get a book and you write down everything that you try, and you write down the date, the time, the brand, who it was, what type of therapy. You write down everything you possibly can, whether it works or not. Some things you have to give 6-8 weeks to, some things 3 months. Yeah, sometimes it's automatic, you'll know. However, you keep this log. You are not going to be the same person in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. Go back to your log. See what didn't work. Try it again. It might work this time because you're a different person. The same man never steps in the same river twice. You are in a different part of your healing. And so you have to revisit it. And frankly, PTSD kind of makes you your own Sherlock Holmes. You need to find what works for you. And only you can figure that out. Now, things might work for a while, and then all of a sudden they don't work quite as well. Well, because you've changed, you've grown, you've healed. You need to find the next thing that's going to work for you in this particular time. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but that's kind of my answer to it.
This backs up my statement of why we do not take government funding, because I do not care. There is no such thing as a recognized therapy. If a veteran comes to me and says, Doc, I think underwater basket weaving will help me sleep at night, my only answer is, how do we do it safely?
Exactly.
Hence, $22 a month, folks. That's all I'm asking. $22 a month. 100 people giving $22 a month pays the utilities. Yeah. That's just the start. I'm sorry. Did I go on a tangent?
Tangents are allowed. It brings it back though to the whole point. We're trying to help our fellow veterans here. I'm a civilian, so I'm walking into this from a different viewpoint because I don't have that same background. I just don't. But we're everywhere too, right? So what I can contribute and what I can do, hopefully, is an example to other civilians to say, oh yeah, I can do something here. I don't know what that is. I got to figure out what I can do to help. But that's where we all are. Now, when you're talking about PTSD as well, I'm kind of, one thing that crossed my mind, I'm wondering if this is accurate, is sometimes that hardest part of the whole recognition point is somebody being able to step up and say, yeah, I think this is my issue and I'm ready to work on this. Is that I'm wondering how hesitant are people to actually open themselves up and get started? Is that a stumbling block, or is that I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost as much, if not more, than as much as a woman who has been sexually assaulted. We don't talk about the taboos. You don't want anybody to know that there's something wrong with you or that somebody got the better of you. You were weak in a moment. And here's the thing, PTSD isn't weakness at all. It is something that I have a news flash for civilians and military alike. Everybody gets PTSD. You can't not live this human experience without something. We all suffer from it. And all it is your central nervous system going offline. That's all it is. It's that simple. Now, I think it's a sin that by the time you reach high school, you know if you break a bone, what's going to happen. You're going to go to the hospital, you're going to get an x-ray, they're going to, oh yeah, it's broken. They're going to put you in a cast or maybe some surgery. And 6 to 8 weeks, you're back to playing soccer, right? What happens when your central nervous system goes down? We all have one, yet none of us know how to reset it. That's a problem. And it's not discussed in high school, it's not discussed in middle school, and it's barely talked about in college. In fact, it's barely even discussed in medical schools. That's a problem.
That's a big problem.
And we all have one. So that is the crux of this. I firmly believe education. We need to be educated on how do you reset your central nervous system? Then we all have a fighting chance. So there's nothing
They do that in
wrong.
the past called electroshock therapy.
Could you do that?
No,
No,
it
that's
didn't
not.
work. I'm
No.
making up funny on.
Oh,
Yeah, look, folks, she's speaking truth here. Okay, I
we
can't.
use,
I
we
can't
can
stress this enough.
we can utilize yoga therapy to actually help reset the central nervous system. However, there are other things, tons of other things that you can do to do that. You just got to know and do it.
Alcohol is not one of them.
Negative, nor drugs, nor sex, nor is eating, either lack of or over, nor is buying, nor is gambling, nor is technology, nor is gaming. Would you like me to continue, or have we hit all of the basics?
We've hit the top ones.
Yeah.
Okay, look, guys, girls, this woman is speaking truth. We're gonna be talking because A, I like her. B, she's gonna help a lot of you. We just got to figure out how. We
We'll
just
talk
gotta,
about it. We'll talk about it.
we got to figure out how that's gonna happen. But yeah, folks, this was an outstanding guest. Oh wait, you're supposed to be on last week, but you had that commitment, right? That was you. Okay. What commitment did you have in Manhattan, Kansas?
Somebody died.
That happens every day.
Somebody I knew.
Oh, okay. Medic thing, you know.
Yeah, how inconvenient. Could you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, that people say I'm callous because, you know, this person died. Yeah. Yeah. It happens.
But it shouldn't happen sooner than it should.
You're right. It happens. Yeah. Okay. But we have another guest, I think.
We do, and I want to see if is Swami, if you are available and ready to come on in and join our conversation here. So glad to have you joining us as well. This is Swami Tirtha, and a wonderful gentleman I just have gotten to know recently here. I want to come on in. I love what that says, "Grow Young Again." Tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and welcome to the show here.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Kurt, nice to meet you. Anissa, I've enjoyed listening to you guys talking. So I wrote Grow Young Again because that is my mission, to help people grow young again. And it sounds though sometimes so fantastical, but if you put it into real words, what does it mean? It could mean anything from our parents and grandparents who are not healing like they used to, not recuperating from their injuries or their health issues. It could be a veteran who's got health issues or accidents that have happened to them that can be actually healed through this system. And emotionally, physically, it could be athletes who are trying to compete at the top levels, like Mike Tyson and David Beckham, who are involved in this. So growing young, but for me, it's really, those are the fantastical sides, because when you see a change, somebody has a issue, and 3 days later they can stand. There's no more pain. Um, and I'll certainly talk about that, because that's what most people need. But as you also were alluding to earlier, is it works on the emotions, and it makes us emotionally vulnerable in a courageous way. Yeah, I've seen couples, 85-year-old couples, who probably argue as much as or as little as any other couple. And now, after getting involved with this, they're holding hands, they're snuggling, and when they do have their little tiffs, they're quicker, they're moderated more. So all those things, grow young again, and then just, of course, feeling young again. I mean, I look pretty good for 300 years old, right? I don't look a day over 200.
I can hardly wait to be able to say that myself.
So, but feeling young again. I'm 70, turned 70 last year. I feel, in just about almost a year of being involved with this, I feel like I'm 32 again, with a little bit of wisdom that I gained over these years. So as I feel better, I don't go out and just blow it all off and say, well, okay, let me just take it easy. I learned when you run into walls, you get bumps on the head, and you don't get where you want to go. So, so that's the big arching overview. Would you like to know some more? You have questions?
Actually, Brian, do you have questions right off the bat?
Uh,
Or Anissa?
Tell us more.
yeah, is this a product? Is this
Yes.
a way of life? What?
It is a product. Looks like a Band-Aid. This is actually the product. And we put it on our body for 12 hours a day, take it off for 12 hours. And it actually, you know how when the sun shines on us, on our skin, the skin automatically makes vitamin D.
Yeah.
So the wavelength, the light of the sun, that wavelength makes vitamin D. Well, the inventor of this patch figured out a wavelength of light that activates the mitochondria. And while there's nothing in the patch, there's no herb, there's no medicine, there's no drug, there's no chemical. It is just sugar, water, and amino acid in a pattern, a lattice pattern. And so our DNA releases infrared light, low level light or heat. And as it escapes the body, think of this as a mirror. If you have this patch on you somewhere, it bounces off the mirror back into the body and tells the body, strengthen your mitochondria. Mitochondria says, okay. And one of the things it does is it elevates our copper peptides, which have been found since the 70s through research, help us grow young, reverse the aging process. Not just slow it down, but reverse it. And then from there, it activates our master cell, which go to heal and regenerate. And so, for example, one of the studies found that if you wear the patch for a year, the biological age of your heart is 8 years younger, 10 years younger, something like that. So it's with everything else. And just to be clear, everything that Anissa was saying, the yoga, I've been in the holistic field for over 50 years, or is it 250 years? I think it's 50 years. And so I started with meditation and yoga back in the 70s, and in the 80s I found Ayurvedic medicine, and amazing. I had the flu. I took some herbs. Literally, before I could snap my fingers or blink my eyes, there was no more flu. So I'm all about instant stuff, because instant stuff happens for me. And EFT, which you guys probably have seen the research at the National Institutes of Health, how it helps veterans with their PTSD. Emotional freedom technique is a tapping kind of a thing. And neuro-linguistic programming and all sorts of energy healing, Reiki. I've studied so much of this and used it so much, and it's helped me and it's helped my clients over the years. But last year when I turned 70, my age slowing down things sort of took second tier to aging, speeding up things. And one day I was just happened to look down at my legs. It was a hot sunny day here in Florida, and my skin suddenly to me looked like old man skin. And while it may sound vain or something, just the thought of me watching myself shrink into a prune, I said, is this going to be my life from now on? Am I just going to watch myself contract? And I couldn't really deal with that. I just, certain things, it's like, no, that can't happen. I want to have a positive mindset. And I had a little conversation with God, as that happens every once in a while, on a big subject. And 2 days later, I was introduced to these patches. And so it's my friend, she was 75 last year. For 45 years, she had fibromyalgia. She couldn't bend. And then this one day, she was smiling. She ducked under a fence like a little kid. I said, how'd you do that? You couldn't do that. Who are you? And she said, I started these patches. They helped me grow young. I've been wearing them for 3 days. And I said, 3 days? Give me some patches. So she lent me some patches. I started feeling, because I've been holistically minded for so many years, pretty healthy, but just little niggly things of aging, stiff shoulders that take me a while to get out of bed and things like that. Doing things slower than I realized I was doing. Suddenly, things were just not bothering me anymore. And over the last year, the energies come back and the motivations come back. And after the first month, I woke up one morning and I said, God, you've given me a second chance on life here. I want to rededicate my life to you. And so this is my mission, to bring light to the world, literally, our body's own inner light. We let it heal itself. We get out of our own way. God knows I need to do that. And we let our body heal ourselves. It knows what it needs. So.
And we actually were blessed, a few months ago to have Dr. George Grant as a guest on here with us.
Mm-hmm.
He actually was part of the team of scientists that created this.
Okay.
So something's kind of coming full circle here, that we had met him and how amazing, energetic, all the things. He is a dynamo. And that there is this connection that he was telling us about this patch thing that he worked on, and we connected the dots like, oh my gosh, it's this is what exactly he was talking about.
And I made I went online to the YouTube, and I did some research on veterans who have used the LifeWave patches, and they have some testimonials, and I put together a little video. I'm happy to show it to you guys if you'd like to see it.
We're going to have to talk a little bit more about that, brother.
Sure.
I appreciate all the help, but before we
dive
in, there's things that have to be discussed.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds understanding, and we met the doctor before.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. I remember I did ask him to send us some samples, didn't I, Sue?
I'm not sure. I don't know if
I did, and we never got them.
Okay.
Just saying. But yeah, look, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, these are all ways that you can get help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, reach out to us. We have their contact information. We just don't blot it out here. If you're serious about wanting information about products, programs, reach out to us. We're not shy on sharing them. Okay? But these are great people, and we don't want to waste their time. So we got to do that little bit of, what do you call it? Weeding?
Due diligence.
Diligence. Yeah.
Yeah, because my email address is susan@projectdiehard.org. So feel free to reach my way, and I'm more than happy to connect people, because we want people to get what they need, what will help them. Everybody's different, and what works for person A might not work for person B, but person C might be exactly that's what I need it. You don't know. And we're all different. We all have to figure out what works for us, and to have options, to have technology, technique, personality, all the things that we can get to the point of what each person needs. That's the biggest win I could ever hope for.
Oh, yeah, I hope for that every day. But I'm also a realist, folks. I can only do with what the resources I have. I want to do everything for my brothers and sisters, but I can't do that with just me. We do a little bit more with me and Susan and Kurt and Christy and Ronald and yeah. I guess I'm getting to the point. Step up, join the team. Okay, we have to grow, and to grow, I need a solid base. I need core people that will help this mission grow. I just got a text message I have to handle. I am so sorry. Susan, take charge.
You're good.
Yeah, Manhattan. That's how I'm just going to call you Manhattan. This is my life. When a veteran reaches out, that's where I go.
I understand it.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. And I will see you all later.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian.
Now, how do I leave?
Pop you to the back. There we go. And as he's heading out, I know Kurt is just getting logged in, so he'll be able to join the conversation here as well. But did you actually, Swami and Anissa, do you guys have any questions for each other before we move forward? Go ahead.
I have questions for Swami if he's available.
Sure, absolutely. Let me just turn the light on so I get a little. It's getting dark outside here, but
You're good.
that's where I want to be.
Yeah, sit outside as long as you can. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Do you still have snow?
Oh gosh, no.
No snow.
It was 80 today. That was like the first 80 of the year. So it's like, and I'm sitting in the basement right now to do this with a sweatshirt on because it's chilly down here. That's just how it goes. And here, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Kurt in to join the conversation as well. Hey Kurt, how you doing?
Doing absolutely wonderful. I just came from the Happy Neighborhood Project, the happiest place in the world for business people. So now I come and meet with some of my other happy folks. Life is good.
And Anissa had a question for Swami, so I want to go ahead and give her a chance to ask.
Sure.
So I have two questions.
Sure.
The first question is,
You only asked for one, so you okay.
no, I will take two. I will take two.
Okay, all right. You're from New York. You just whatever. You just say what you
Yeah,
want.
I just do whatever I please. So the patches, obviously you wear them for 12 hours, you take them off. After several days, obviously it builds up in the body, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How long what if you run out of patches? Like how long do they last for as far as in your body?
That's a good question. Basically, they say if you want to wear the patches for 1 month for every decade you're alive. So I'm 70, wear them for 7 months, and then your master cells are fully activated. They're working as good as they can be. Now, if you stop, then the aging process just goes back again. It just starts settling down. Like low tide, things start coming down. So it's really a matter of choice. I had a friend in his 50s, and he hurt himself playing basketball, hurt his knee, and he was wearing the patches and healed his knee, and he stopped wearing the patches. Just because that's what he was interested in. I mean, he's into longevity and things, and he's okay with that. It's a personal thing, but you get, but you wear them. Yeah. So I guess that's the answer to that question.
Okay.
Is that?
Um, Yeah, and that's very helpful. Thank you. Also, we know that with PTSD and trauma, it's an inflammatory situation within the body
Mhm.
that causes a significant amount of increased autoimmune diseases and deficiencies,
Yeah.
one of which being diabetes.
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned in the patch there's sugar water. What does that play on with diabetics?
Zero. Nothing in the patch goes into the body. It's non-transdermal, as they call it in
Okay.
the technical world. In fact, you could even it's hypoallergenic, but if you didn't want to put the patch on your skin, you could put it on your clothes. You could even put it 3 inches off if you had like a sweater and a shirt and a jacket for some reason, because the light extends out the body at least 3 inches.
Right.
You talked about inflammation. Inflammation, we know, is the cause of most everything chronic pain, and inflammation eats up our cells. And we have a secondary patch just for inflammation, and that anti-inflammatory eats up the inflammation, so it can't. So even as you're building up yourself, this is taking away diverting the attention of the inflammations. And so we have people. There's a guy, he was so overweight, he was dangerously overweight. His life was threatened, and at the same time his diabetes was threatened. And within 6 months of the patches, he was back to a normal weight. Like you wouldn't, it was like 3 people in one in his before and after picture.
Wow. Well, I hate to interrupt, but I do have a bit of a surprise in the background. Santa Papa John is joining us. I want to bring him on in to say hi. Welcome.
Greetings. How's everybody doing?
All right.
Great.
So great to see you.
Yes, it's been a while.
It's been a hot minute.
Swami, I'm not sure if I've met you before, but nice meeting you, young man. I'm Santa, and I love putting smiles on people's faces because we need more of that in this world. There's a lot of people, as you well know, that don't have a reason to smile. So I can jump onto a Zoom call or get into a meeting and I make people smile because we need more of that. How's everybody doing? And sorry, it's been a little late, but you know how it is, life.
You are
The elves went amok again, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Of
Yeah,
course. And then,
the
of course,
reindeer.
Mrs. Claus had, some honeydew list that I had to, continue to work on, because that's a never ending list looking after her. Because she does an amazing job looking after me.
There you go.
So what did I miss? And give me a quick 30-second rundown, Sue.
Actually, that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and pass it around. Unless you want to go ahead and I'll start with you. And then Swami, if you want to each share just a 30-second of what you bring to us today.
We were talking. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We were talking about yoga therapy and this neurosomatic work that I do and that kind of stuff.
Oh, the fun stuff.
The fun stuff.
Amazing.
And I was talking about a little Band-Aid looking technology, which is a light technology that activates our mitochondria and our copper peptides and our master cells and helps us grow young again.
Absolutely. I've heard about them, and I've heard they do amazing positive things to the body.
Yeah. It might take the gray. It might put the color back in your beard, though. You got to be careful.
Oh, no. That wouldn't happen. It's been that way for way too long. Kurt would ever grow up, he might be able to grow one of these too, but I don't think his wife would have let him.
Oh, I got pictures. He grew once.
Once?
Once.
Oh, that sounds like blackmail material to me.
Oh, I got pictures.
Watch out, Die Hard 6 says he's got my 6. So
there you go. Absolutely. Hey guys, lots of exciting things happening on my side, and I know Project Die Hard's always got lots of exciting things going on, and And folks, you know, those people listening out and about, hey, if you haven't heard of this amazing group and you want to participate, please get a hold of someone. Kurt, Sue, Brian. There's many people that you can get a hold of. They're always looking for volunteers, always looking for extra hands to work on this project or that project. And they've got a big project that they're working on in Illinois that they're excited to develop. It's coming together, but it still needs some work. It still needs some donations. And we're excited to open the door soon when we get some minor projects done and created to open some doors to some much needed roofs over some soldiers' heads or veterans' heads that, you know, is going to be a welcoming new extremely beneficial site to many veterans that we're hoping down the road.
Excellent. Yeah, we're working hard to get the right people in the right places to be able to make these things all come together. And there's a lot of positive things happening over the course of the next few weeks and throughout this year. And oh my gosh, that's why we're here every Monday night. We do this podcast to give all the updates because there's a lot happening and to be able to share wonderful friends with everybody because what a group here. Oh my goodness. I'm so grateful to each of you. So,
well, thank you.
Absolutely. If you don't know, the way we always end our shows on Mondays is for each of us to just go around and share a word of hope for our veterans. Any message that you would like to give? I think, Santa, if I can go ahead and start with you with that.
Holy moly, folks, it's pretty simple. If you're a veteran out there and you're listening and you're going through some hard times, suck it up, Buttercup, because we're going to be right with you. Get a hold of us. We know what you're going through. Well, we think we know what you're going through, but we're going to have your, side. We're going to have your back. We're going to help you out to the best of our abilities that we can. And even if it's a tired old year like Mr. Kurtz, he'll still put up with you and he'll listen to you because we love you, we know you, and it doesn't matter the time of the day or the day of the week. We don't care. My phone number is out there. Sue and Kurt's phone number's out there. If you need to reach us, talk to us. We don't care because we'll listen and we'll help you in the best of our abilities that we can, because there's so much excitement building in this organization, and we want to be proud, and we are going to be very proud to share it with people like you. So if you're going through a rough time, share it with us, because we want to get you through to the next step, because we love our veterans and we love supporting them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anissa, I'm going to pass it to you next. A word of hope for our veterans.
Well, as I said earlier, if you're going to walk through hell, you walk through like you own the place. And if you need help doing that, I will gladly help you walk through like you own it.
Awesome. And actually, I forgot to ask earlier, is there a website or some way for the people can find you, or you want to have them come through us to send your way? What would you prefer?
You know what? I'm going to have them go through you guys.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right. So Susan@projectdiehard.org. If you want to get in touch with Anissa, please reach me and I will connect you. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And Swami, oh, absolutely. I hope we can get you guys back again too. This has been really good. Swami, I'm going to pass it to you next.
Sure. The overarching theme of what Anissa and I were talking about is alternatives to the supposedly traditional things. Everything's out there within your reach, for whether it's yoga, whether it's EFT, Reiki. There's so many natural things you could do, including just eating a little healthier, and following your heart, doing things you love to do. I'm not a veteran. My dad was in the Navy. I can't really speak to say I know what you're going through, but of course, like you guys said, I have my own set of PTSDs. But you just, I don't know. Talk to the man upstairs. If you believe in something like that, that's what gets me through life more than anything else. And the patches, that's if that's something that stirs an interest in you, it's cutting edge, and let Susan or Kurt know, and they'll get to me and I'll get to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Kurt, I'm going to pass it your way.
Just by Swami saying, you get to me, you get to you. It reminds me of that saying, what bounces off of one sticks to the other, you know, that whole thing. But I just came from an HMP, Happy Neighborhood Project session. They call it a posting party. And the one happy family member is River Easter, and she's running an event tomorrow. And the way she leads into it is, have you ever felt trapped in your own potential?
Ooh.
Wow, right? Like, so I'm posing as hope, all things new. Like, did you ever think you would hear a name called River Easter? She's got a cool name, eh? And being trapped in your own potential, and then to see Anissa and Swami tonight, there's just so much in store. And make the transition over to the place where you can maybe appreciate all the stuff that is just out there sitting ready and waiting for you to plug and play, ready to go. So plug and play, I'm ready to go. Back to you, Sue.
Excellent. What a crew tonight. Thank you guys so much for being here. My last words are just, God's not done with you yet. You're here for a reason. Find out what that reason is. Keep looking. If you don't know what it is right this second, it's okay. And it's okay to not be okay. We are here to help. We're here to, in whatever way we can, whatever we can do. We're all in this together. So you've got a lot of people around you that care and want to help. We just need to know, what do you need? Where are you right now? What is it that we can do to make a difference? Thank you so much. As always, we are here on Monday nights for Project Die Hard Mission Monday Update. We're here at 6:30 p.m. Central. And please, like we said already, reach out. My email address again, susan@projectdiehard.org. Come on back next week and see what we have stirred up between now and then. I can hardly wait to share. As always, we thank you.